Joe had to go, and Kevin Keegan breezes in.
Yes.
And reinvigorated the club. And again, one of the fans you talked to in the book saying, yeah, this was one of the best years of my life supporting City. When Keegan came in that first year, yeah, they had the victory over Manchester United in the derby, 3-1, first win since 89. I mean, you know, it was a significant achievement for a faltering team.
And that the Keegan promotion season was so much fun, because we talked about those Gillingham and Blackburn promotions. Keegan just put together this swashbuckling team where, I mean, it was a 3-5-2, but his wing backs were Sean Wright-Phillips and Danny Tiato. And in the midfield three, he had Ayo Berkovic and Ali Benarbia as like double playmakers. You know, it was interesting when Guardiola arrived at City, and the initial thing was, can you play Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva in the middle together? Well, the answer is, of course you can. But it did make me smile of thinking, I'm sure we had these conversations about 15 years ago. So can you play Berkovic and Benarbia? When they got to the Premier League, it became apparent you probably couldn't. And he tweaked it to be a little bit more pragmatic. And yeah, it was a team playing that same shape that won that last derby at Main Road. As you say, first time in 13 years. First time in my City supporting lifetime I'd seen a win against United. Absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, the weird thing about Keegan then is they finished 9th, but you got the sense that the old guard that Keegan had inherited from Royal, whether it was Goethe scoring goals, whether it was Kevin Horlock doing a fine job as like a late career holding midfielder, he kind of wanted shiny new things, Keegan. And some of that was great. I mean, that they kind of broke the bank to bring in Nicolas Anelka, who was at that time by far and away the most talented, gifted player I'd ever seen in a City shirt. But like you say, they finished 9th, and he probably, I mean, I would say definitely, I don't think he gave that achievement the credit it should have had. And then he made a lot. The year after that was they moved to the new stadium, so he was keen on having a team with big names in. But you then ended up with this kind of thrown together, slightly over the hill all-star 11 with people like Paul Bosvelt, Michael Tarnat, Steve McManaman in. It was sort of like a 1999 dream team, but in 2003.
I loved Paul Bosvelt, by the way. I mean, what a soldier that bloke was. I mean, from his time I used to cover the Eredivisie for a good few years. And, yeah, he was one of the players that you'd have in the trenches. You know, I mean, what a perfect partner for him in the midfield would have been Nigel de Jong, who came a few years later. So.